Are you currently suffering from pain in the front of your hip or groin area and hearing or feeling a popping or snapping sound when you move your leg? Those are common signs and symptoms of a labral hip tear. Hey everyone, this is Dr. Zach here, Performance Sport and Spine, and today's video is discussing all things labral hip tear. And if you're new to our channel, we're all about pain education, exercise, and ways to self-manage your conditions. The hip joint is a ball and socket joint comprised of two bones, the femur or thigh bone, and then the pelvis and the acetabulum. And the labrum is this fibrocartilaginous structure that helps deepen and protect the socket. Its also function is this labrum on the hip helps to absorb shock, it helps distribute the force on the ball of the femur more evenly, and then it keeps the joint lubricated. And it's estimated that people with hip pain, about 25 to 55% of those people will have a labral tear. Labral tears commonly present as dull, achy pain in the front of the hip, the groin, or sometimes in the buttocks. It usually comes on gradually, and you often will experience pain at night. The pain you experience is likely caused by focal inflammation of that labral tear getting smashed or pinched in the ball, and it's often provoked with such activities as walking, pivoting, running, or prolonged sitting. It's likely that you will also experience mechanical symptoms such as popping, snapping, or feeling like the hip is going to give out on you. A really important thing to take away from this video, our labral tears are secondary to something else. Something has caused that labrum to get overworn and torn. So the most common thing is femoral acetabular impingement or hip impingement, but other causes could be trauma, hip dysplasia, joint laxity, or degeneration. So again, it's important to not only treat the labrum tear, but also the underlying pathology, because if you just fix the symptoms, whatever's causing that tear will remain, and it's likely to come back or worsen your symptoms. Now I'm going to explain why you don't want to aggressively stretch your hip if you have a labral problem. So if your hip has these bony changes, like a hip impingement or hip dysplasia, and there's been some wear and tear or some pinching on that labrum, and you're aggressively stretching your hip like I show you here, that can further irritate or damage the labrum. Again, any muscle tightness you feel is protecting the labrum and the joint itself, so some light mobilization may be helpful, but anything aggressive is far likely to cause damage than be beneficial. For the exercises, it's broken into two parts. Level 1, initial, which will require a small exercise ball. If you don't have it, a soccer ball or basketball will work. And level 2, which are more advanced, that you can progress up to. Again, start at your current fitness and injury level, and then progress as tolerated. Level 1. Clamshell ball squeeze. Laying on your back with your feet on the floor with your knees bent. Place the ball between your knees and gently press your knees in towards the ball and hold for 20 seconds or to tolerance. Feel tension over the outside of your hips. Adduction ball press. Laying on your back with the ball between your foot and the wall. Press your outside foot into the ball, into the wall, and hold for tolerance or for 20 seconds. Again, some tension on the outside glute or hip area. Abduction ball press. So laying with your inside foot against the wall with the ball between your foot and the wall, press your inside leg into the ball, into the wall. Feel mild tension on the inside of the glute or inner leg. Sideline ball roll. Laying with the painful hip up, place the ball between the foot and the floor. Pressing down gently into the ball with your leg, you're going to roll your leg forward as far as you can with your hip and backwards. You may need to adjust the range of motion or tension to your current symptoms level and then increase over time. Ball squeeze single leg. Laying on your back with your knees bent, place the ball between your knees. Of the painful hip, we're going to press that leg outwards as we maintain pressure of the ball between our knees. You may need to adjust the pressure and the range of motion initially and then progress as tolerated. You should feel tension on the outside of the painful hip. Level 2 exercises. Single leg glute bridge. Laying on your back with your knees bent, lift the non-painful leg off the floor. Lift your toes of your painful leg up and keep your heel in contact with the floor. Lift your body up with your glutes and hips. For some people, this may be too advanced, and you can do a 2-leg version initially, as we demonstrate here, and then advance to the single leg version. Adduction leg raise. Laying on your back with an exercise ball between your legs. Keep your knees straight. Press your feet into the ball and lift the ball and feet as high as you can while maintaining pressure into the ball with your feet. Make sure not to curl your back and make sure the motion is just through your hips and you maintain pressure through the ball through the full motion. Kettlebell side lunge. Holding a lightweight kettlebell or dumbbell, we're going to do a lateral lunge. Make sure to keep one knee straight and press the other hip backwards, not to the side. Make sure to do this on both sides and switch directions. Wall-assisted hip airplane. So using the opposite arm, we're going to contact the wall, straighten the leg, and then using your other hip, we're going to rotate through that hip feeling tension outside of our glute. Make sure to rotate through your hip and not your shoulders. And over time, as you get more comfortable, try to use less and less fingers for contacting the wall. For diagnosing the condition, you should have a positive Fader test, which is an orthopedic test that places stress on the ball of the socket and the labrum, and then also positive findings on MRI with injections or an MRA. So types of tears. There's 3 kinds. The most common is anterior. This often presents as anterior hip pain or growing pain, and this is much more common in people of European descent or in the United States. Posterior. So this is a lateral deep region of the labrum. This presents more often as buttock or posterior pain, and it's less frequent in European descent or US and more common in Japanese. Superior lateral. These rarely occur and are unlikely to be clinically relevant. Thanks for watching our video on labral hips of the joint. Fortunately, there's a lot that we can do with education and exercise. If you did find this video helpful, please like it and subscribe to our channel, and then don't forget to check out our other videos.